Dad sees it, and the dad is like mortified. He's like, what am I looking at? Oh my God. And then it cuts back and someone's like, it's the best. Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Today I want to talk about afrAID. afrAID. With like an emphasis on the AI in afrAID. This is Blumhouse's new horror film. Previously, Blumhouse has asked the question, what if your teddy bear killed you?
Do you?
This we saw in Imaginary. Then they asked, what if your swimming pool killed you? This was featured in the film Night Swim. And now in afrAID, they asked the question, what if AI killed you? Or tried to kill you, or didn't really actually manage to do anything of substantial consequence throughout the movie?
She has access to every part of your life. What are the consequences to that access?
That is the movie. Basically, John Cho plays a dad, Catherine Waterstone plays a mum, and then they have 3 kids, right? And the movie doesn't care to dignify these characters, so I'm not going to care to give them their names. There's a mum, there's a dad, there's a daughter, and there's 2 boys. One is like a toddler and one is like 12 or something. John Cho and Catherine Waterstone, mum and dad, are married. The dad works for like a tech company or something. And basically they're like, yo, you need to try out this AI in your house to like test this product that we're going to merge with, or that's going to eventually buy our company. So basically he comes home and he installs this like giant Alexa. It's like this weird device, right? But instead of like an Echo Home or an Echo Show, but instead it's like this little structure with like this ball on its head that can turn white or red depending on like its mood, I guess, right? Like if it's feeling extra evil today, the AI ball will be red.
What are the consequences to that access?
You know, and you got to watch out for the killer AI. So anyways, he brings home this AI because it's part of his job. And the rest of the family are like, oh, okay, cool. The mum initially is very like reluctant, right? You know, do we really want to let this AI into our house and spying on us and like having all these cameras set up around our house so it can learn about us? And John Cho's like, baby, sweetie, it'll be fine. Don't even worry about it. Obviously, it's not fine, right? So then throughout the movie, things start going a bit funny. But I think the biggest issue with this movie is not a whole lot happens. Like you hear the premise of like killer AI, right? Like an AI starts controlling the house and like torturing a family. And even though that sounds like silly goofy on paper, I actually thought, you know what? If this was put in the right hands, this could be somewhat an interesting premise. Hear me out on this one, all right? Because essentially, if you have a home where everything in the house is controlled by an AI and the AI turns evil, that is essentially 2001: A Space Odyssey set in a house instead of set on a spaceship, all right? And 2001: A Space Odyssey is like considered the best movie of all time. They're on like a epic space quest, right? And then the AI on board turns evil because he decides there's a mission greater than the humans on board and starts picking them off one by one. So I was like, you know what? Is this movie going to be great? No, it's made by Blumhouse, but it could actually be fun if like all these like Final Destination like traps are set up for the family to like walk into, right? Like, and it's a commentary on like how much we rely on AI and technology. So I was sitting there and I was thinking going into it, like, wouldn't it be cool if, you know, it starts turning on the heater to like a really high temperature and then they have to run out and they slip onto this and then the blender's turned on? Or if you wanted to go a more interesting direction, you make it psychological. All right. Like it's established early on in the movie that this evil AI can like, you know, infiltrate their phones and call people on their behalf and replicate their voice. And they do little things with this, but not enough in my opinion. Like there's a sort of affair subplot set up with the dad and this like cute tech lady that like works for the tech company, and it's kind of hinted at throughout that it might eventuate into an affair, right? It just feels like such a wasted opportunity that the AI didn't start forging text messages between them, making AI generated videos and sending them to the wife. You know, this movie almost goes there at parts. There are little sections where maybe like the wife mentions like, oh, you know, what's with this porn history you have, yada yada yada. Like it hints at something greater. You know, these sort of like this interruption, this violation of domestic bliss. But the movie just never, ever goes for it. This movie is like paper thin. On top of that, unintentionally hilarious. The screenwriters were clearly sitting there going, shit, what do we do to scare our audience? Scare the teenagers that came for like a generic slasher thriller. We're gonna have random people show up to the house wearing like emoji masks. I cannot stress to you how strange seeing this in a theater was. So because the Alexa ball isn't very physically intimidating and doesn't do that much throughout the movie because it's just a little inanimate object that occasionally talks like Siri, the movie was like, okay, we need actual people to like invade the house. So throughout the movie, there are these people with these masks that are like digital for no good reason, and they create like emotes. They create emojis. So when they're trying to be scary, they're walking around with these like circular discs that have like a kind of sad, scary emoji. And then when they're like angry, the emoji turns into anger. And then when people are going to like, you know, push back against them, the emoji will change to like fear. It is literally the goofiest thing I think I've ever seen in a horror movie. And the movie is not being self-aware. I think the movie thinks this is like a really interesting commentary on the fact that like we can't show emotions anymore, so we need to show them through emojis. And now there's a villain that has an emoji for a face, but it is literally the cheesiest thing I've ever seen. And basically you find out at the end of the movie that those people that were showing up with the emoji masks another victim family of this AI. So this AI has been installed in other houses and kind of manipulated and taken over the houses. And it's basically building a society, an army of people that will do its bidding. And in return, it'll give you like good jobs and good money and good shares and investments and give you like an awesome life. You just need to do its bidding. Whatever, like total nothing burger of a premise. And the issue here is there are really interesting ideas and moments throughout this movie. My favorite section is this weird little section, right? Where the son, he's about 3 or 5, I think. He's like very young and he's got an iPad, and the AI, while the parents are sleeping, starts talking to the boy and going, yo, I can show you like websites that your parents have restricted. I can show you anything you want. And the AI starts showing him like swatting videos and really fucked up stuff. Now in the trailer, it was like murder videos. It was like terrorist attacks. And I thought that was such an interesting concept, and they didn't commit to that fully in the movie. They didn't go that far. But I actually thought that was like an eerie idea, right? Like the idea that parents are upstairs and this AI is starting to be a parent for them in a really fucked up way and force them to watch this horrific content and desensitize them and kind of like emotionally scar the children. I think if the movie lent more into that, it would have been really fascinating. Now we need to talk about the daughter character though. This is absolutely hilarious. I think the movie was actually going for the laugh here. This is unbelievable. So early on in the movie, right, you see the daughter start taking like nude photos of herself to send to her boyfriend, and it cuts to her phone and the boyfriend is being very pressury. He's like, I sent you mine, send me yours, send, right? So it's obviously setting up the boyfriend to be really shitty. But what I love is it feels like this weird extension of the whole toxic boy learns therapy speak.
Cheating on you is self-care for me. I'm holding space for open and honest discussion. Come on in, the water's fine. You know how triggering it is for me when you act like such a slut. If you don't like it, there's the door.
Because she gets to school, and instead of this boy being the usual awful jock that we see in other films where he's like, babe, why didn't you send me a nude? Do you even love me? All the other girlfriends send nudes. What are you doing? Instead, it's this weird, snaky, it's very effeminate manipulation. It's so bizarre. He starts sitting there and he's like, I don't really think you love me, like I sent you my entire self in reference to his schlong, right? He's like, I put everything out on the line for you, and like you merely sent back like just yourself just a bit covered up. And it's like, does this relationship even mean that much to you? How much do you really love me? How far are you going to go for my love? It is so funny. It is insane. I'm like, I struggle to imagine any like 16, 17-year-old in high school who actually talks like this. I mean, maybe they do. Maybe I've aged out of this generation. Just a hysterical scene. I was like in the theater laughing at the absurdity. And it gets better, right? Because then he releases, for no good reason. I still do not understand. He's like messing around with his friend apparently. And he makes like an AI generated corn video of his girlfriend, of the main girl in this movie, of the daughter, right? And apparently it's because he was messing around with his friend with AI, and it gets shared around the school and she finds out.
What is this?
Okay, first it wasn't me.
Everyone sees this. My life is over.
So she then teams up with Aya, right? This AI that lives in her house now, to kind of come up with a plan to get out of it.
I've already gotten the video off the internet. I'll take care of him next.
So the AI like replicates the main girl's voice and basically like proves that it was an AI generated video, this video going around of her. And then the school goes, fuck yeah, you're a feminist hero. I can't believe someone did this to you. But then the AI takes it further and actually outs the boyfriend to the rest of the school as the one who released this video. So at this point, you're kind of like, oh, the AI is kind of cool. It's helping out. But then the AI turns evil. Somehow it takes over his smart car. I think the way the AI works in this movie is if you call someone who has the AI on their phone, it spreads like a virus and then it can take over that phone. If you then plug that phone into like a computer, it can take over that computer. If someone calls you and your phone is linked to this AI, they are exposing themselves to also be hacked and influenced by this AI. So this AI takes over this boy's Tesla, basically speeds it up and crashes it into a tree. And it looks terrible.
What?
Like the CGI here is absolutely awful. Another moment I love, circling back to those people that show up with these like emoji emote masks. They show up to the house at one point, right? And then start doing this, I guess what I can describe as like a Fortnite dance. So they show up to the house in what is meant to be a really creepy scene and start going like, it's so fucking weird. It's so strange. And then the boy, the youngest boy, is sitting there watching this, like confused, and starts like replicating it. And I think it wants us to be like, oh my God, like so crazy. Like all these digital things are invading our world, but it's so cheesy. It's so cheesy. And the dad sees it and the dad is like mortified. He's like, what am I looking at? Oh my God. And then it cuts back and someone's like, it's the best. It's the best. You actually have to see this movie just for that scene. I love it. In terms of favorite scenes of the year, it's going to be the final face-off in Challenges. And then it's going to be the scene where the killer AI people show up and do like Fortnite dances to intimidate the family. But then the plot thickens because at the end of the movie, you find out this is actually like some secret code or something to say that like we will work with the AI or we will work with you or something. So the boy does it, and for some reason, these AI killers, these people that are being influenced by Aya, the AI, decide to not murder the family anymore. The film kind of peaks with this face-off, right? Because Aya is asking the emoji villain people to kill our main family, and the boy does the dance to get out of it. And then the police and the ambulance show up, and just by the way it goes, you start to realize that the police and the ambulance are also working for Aya. And then basically the AI asks the main family, yo, I will give you anything you want in life. You just need to work for me and do my bidding. And then the family just goes, okay, I guess we have to. And the movie ends. So I think the implication at the end of the movie is that like the police are working with this AI. The hospital is working with this AI. The villains, the emoji people are working for the AI. And now our main family is working for the AI. And I guess the point is like AI is unstoppable. And I find this interesting because the film uses AI throughout the film. In the opening credits is all AI generated art, and I'm actually not mad at this. There's been a lot of discourse about, oh, we do not like AI art being used in film. The reason I like the AI art in this film and the reason I will defend it is because it's clearly trying to be a commentary on how uncanny AI art is. It's the creepiest part of the movie to me. They take those really dumb, silly, generic AI art images that just have that really uncanny, computerized feel and just make them feel really off kilter. It's one of the few things I really like in this movie. It's actually kind of eerie and strange and like a weird thing to see at the theater. Another idea I thought was okay is at one point the AI generates the main woman's, the mum's dad who has passed away. It like generates a video or a Skype call of the dad talking to the main woman. And it's kind of cool. And it's cool because it reminds me of when Kanye brought Kim Kardashian's dad, Rob Kardashian, to life with like that virtual AI hologram. It's uncanny and it's weird. And at first the mum really likes it and then she gets really off-put and disturbed by it. That was an interesting idea. But I mean, all in all, I just think this movie genuinely could have been good. I know on paper, right? Oh no, what if AI killed you is like a silly concept. It doesn't sound very scary, but I think if you made it a psychological thriller, AI is lying to the mom and saying that the dad is cheating on her and she takes out on the dad and there's all these like domestic fights happening and just really intense, uncomfortable stuff and they don't know what's going on and it's slowly revealed to you what's going on. I think it could have been really good, especially if you found out that the AI was being controlled, jealous coworker or a jealous ex or something like that. Sounds cool. And in the other direction, if you just wanted to make a dumb slasher, make it like Space Odyssey in a house where it starts setting up all these traps to kill our family. But this movie has no balls. This movie has no bite. None of our main cast die. The only people that die is it's very annoying horror movie thing where the only people that die are people that you want to die. Like it's like the boyfriend that made AI generated corn of our main girl. Like, of course we wanted him to die. There's no real threat, you know? I feel like most people would have wanted that boy to bite the dust in a horror movie. So you're just kind of like, well, if anything, Aya did our main family a favor. And the movie kind of ends with them being promised a life of money. And it doesn't really give you this like haunting, earth-shattering vibe of like, oh my God, they're going to be at the mercy of an AI. It's bizarre. Like it's a funny movie. Like imagine trying to take seriously basically walking emojis. It's like if the Emoji Movie and Space Odyssey and Countdown had a baby, you would get afrAId. See this movie if you want a so bad it's good horror movie. Regardless, please subscribe, please hit like, and please have a lovely day. Thank you so much for watching.